Okay, in this tutorial, you'll learn how to have your character walk. As your character walks, you'll have the appearance of your character holding their blaster weapon. Your character will be able to have the appearance of jumping with their blaster weapon. When you left click and hold the mouse, your character will fire the blaster weapon. Wherever the mouse moves, your character will aim at the mouse. When the mouse goes the other direction, your character will flip to aim with the mouse. You'll learn how to do that. Also, if you notice, when I left click on the mouse, the character shakes. So the character is actually shaking as the character fires the blaster weapon. So that's what you're going to learn as you work your way through this tutorial. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to have our blasts have the same angle as our blaster. So how do we do that? This event right here, this is one event. This one event has two conditions and three actions. However, this is all one event. We're going to add yet another action to this event. So we're going to click Add Action. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to Common Action for all objects. We're going to Angles. We're going to left click on Angle. Then we're going to go to Angle. And then the angle that we want to work with is our blast. So it says change the angle of rotation of an object. That's our blast. For the modification sign, we're going to click here, set this to equal. And then for this setting, we're going to go to the blue button. We're going to go up to the top, select common expressions for all objects, angle, angle again. Then we're going to click here and we're going to select blaster. Then we're going to click done. So what this is going to do is this is going to make our blast have the same angle as our blaster. So let's click OK. Okay, so now when we go to our preview button, so now you see that when our blaster turns, our blaster in the correct angle with our blaster, which is good. So I'm going to click the X button to come out of that preview. Okay, I'm going to click the preview button again. Okay, so while this is working fine, let me move our player character over. You see this? So that the blaster is shooting correctly. However, it looks very strange that our player character doesn't turn this way. So here, this looks fine. However, here, this doesn't look fine. So let's work on that now. So I'm going to click this X button to come out of that preview window. Okay, the way we're going to deal with this is we're going to click on our main event. When I say main event, I mean the fact that our character isn't moving. With this clicked on, we're going to click this Add a Sub-Event menu. Then we're going to go to Add Condition. We're going to go to Common Conditions for all objects. We're going to go to Angle. And then we're going to select Angle. And then for this, what this is going to be is it says compare the angle of the specified object. This is going to be our blaster. And for the sign of the test, we want this to be greater than. And then for this setting, what we want here is for this to be 90 degrees. So we're going to click OK. All right, so now what we're going to want is when this angle of the blaster is more than 90 degrees, what we want is we want our player to flip. So what we're going to do is we're going to click Add Action. We're going to go to Sprite, Effects, and then flip the object horizontally. So this is going to be the player. So for this, what we want this to be as far as activate flipping, we want this to be yes. So then with that done, we're going to click OK. Okay, so we're going to need pretty much the opposite of this. So what we're going to do is click on our players moving. We're going to click the Add a Sub-Event button. And what we're going to do is we're going to left click here, selecting this entire sub-event. We're then going to right click, select copy. Then we're going to left click here on this sub event. And you can see this is highlighted blue, right? There's no condition or action yet. We're going to click in this, white part right here, right click, then select paste. So what we have now is we have, this sub event copied to here, which is what we want. Okay, this is very similar to when we were doing our animation for our player or walking. As far as this, instead of us pressing a key to make the animation, the object flip, we're using the angle of the blaster. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to double click here. We're going to change this to less than. The rest of the settings are fine. We're going to click OK. And then for this flip the player horizontally, we're going to double click here and we're going to select no and then click OK. We could have clicked right here as well. I just chose to go in and change that to no. Okay, now we'll click the preview button. So I'll make the character walk to the side. So we'll fire the gun, the blaster. Now when the character gets to this side, you can see how the character flips. If we go back and forth, we can see the character changes with our mouse. However, there is an issue because you see that the blaster is upside down. So we don't want that. So we'll click this X button, come out of that preview. And that's fairly simple to deal with. What we're going to do is left click here. So we're clicked on this action. We're going to right click, select copy. Then we're going to click here, hover over this add action. When I say clicked here, I just meant clicked on the white part of the sub event. We're going to hover right over the add action words, right click, and then select paste. Okay, so now for this here, we're going to do the same thing. When I say this, I mean a second sub event, except this is the less than 90 degrees. We're going to right click, select copy, left click to have this highlighted blue, hover over the add action, right click, and then select paste. Okay, so with that done, what we're going to do is we're going to double click. We're going to set this to blaster. We also have this set for flip the object horizontally. We want to change this to flip the object vertically. The rest of this is fine, so we'll click OK. We'll do the same thing here. We'll double click, select blaster, change this from flip the object horizontally to flip the object vertically. This is fine, so we'll click OK. Okay, so with that done, we'll click the preview button. I'll press to make the character walk to the right. So now the character fires. Then we turn here. We can see that the blaster is facing the correct direction. Okay, we have this event right here. Let's add a sound effect. We have two conditions, 4 actions. We're going to add another action. So we're going to click Add Action. We're going to go to Audio. We're going to go to Play a Sound. We're going to go to this paintbrush right here. We're going to click on these words to say Create/Edit a sound effect with JFXR. This is a built-in sound editor. Yep. Sorry, hope that didn't, get you there with that sound effect. If I click this laser, each time I click here, there'll be a different sound effect. These sound effects are also listed right here, so I can go back to them. I like that one right there, so I'm going to click here, name this Blast S, short for Blast Sound, and then I'll click Save. I don't want this to be repeated, so I'm going to click No, and then I'll click OK.